Every time he prepared the deceased's appearance, he would strip the dead person's clothes completely. He wouldn't start until he had inspected every inch of skin. When he saw a graceful woman lying on the table, he couldn't contain his impulse any longer. He tried to cut her slip dress, but just as he was about to act, the woman suddenly opened her eyes.
Where am I?
You're in a funeral home. You're dead.
The man's calm tone was terrifying. It was as if the resurrection in front of him was nothing unusual, but the woman's face was full of confusion. Anna believed she was already dead. How could she still speak? Clearly he strongly resisted this fact. Seeing this, the man pulled out her death certificate. The words on the paper were clear and unmistakable. It showed she had died in a car accident 8 hours ago. Only then did the woman suddenly remember. She had indeed been driving in her memory, and seemed to have rear-ended the car in front. After that she completely lost consciousness, yet the real feeling of her body made her believe she was still alive. While Deacon was preparing Anna's body, Anna thought it was a deliberate murder. He begged Deacon to spare him, promising never to reveal a single word. Deacon, upon hearing this, coldly said, "Everyone who comes here is the same. Alive they fear death, and dead they can't accept reality, yet they must face it." As he stitched Anna's wounds, her tears ran down her cheeks. Her mind was so clear, yet she felt no pain at all. Just as she was about to accept her death, a knock came at the door. Deacon glanced at his watch first, then took out a yellow vial. He explained it would relax her muscles. Before he groomed her, he injected the vial into Anna, leaving behind a chilling message. Unfortunately, Anna could no longer hear it.
Your mother's early.
Anna's mother arrived at the funeral home early, just to see her daughter one last time. Deacon gently lifted the white sheet, removing the leftover stitching needles. Seeing her daughter resting peacefully on the bed, her mother silently wept. The funeral was set for 2 days later. Before parting, she asked the embalmer to make sure her daughter left perfectly. Deacon whispered a reply, and gently pulled the white sheet over Anna. His movements seemed calm, yet there was a trace of haste. At night, Anna gradually regained consciousness. She sat up on the table, hurriedly feeling for her pulse. No matter how hard she tried, she felt nothing. In desperation, she slammed her hand onto the mortuary table, but this only made her more terrified, since she felt no pain whatsoever. She hurried off the table and grabbed the wall phone, but the line didn't work at all. Helpless, she ran to the door shouting for help. Outside, she heard a car approaching. It was her boyfriend, deeply worried about her. He wanted to see her one last time, but Deacon blocked him at the door. He found every excuse to keep Paul out. Anna faintly heard her boyfriend's voice, but no matter how loudly he called, Paul got no response. She thought she could get closer to the truth, but Deacon mercilessly blocked her. Paul drove away heartbroken. Anna confronted Deacon, asking why he kept Paul from seeing her, but Deacon said,
I just seen he was a dead body on the snap. I can see what you were.
Seeing all of Deacon's strange behavior, Anna became even more certain she wasn't dead. She thought Deacon must be a madman, so while he was out, she secretly hid a pair of scissors, but the returning embalmer had no idea. Later, Anna found the right moment and stabbed at him, but it was in vain. She desperately ran to the door, only to find Deacon had locked it casually. Seeing Deacon coming again, Anna raised the scissors. She threatened him to stay back, but Deacon was fearless. He grabbed her hand, forcing her to stab toward his neck. In the end, Anna didn't dare go through with it.
Maybe I was in some kind of coma and the doctors made a mistake.
You died.
Deacon told Anna that the reason he could hear and see the dead speak was because he was born with a special gift. He could talk to people hovering between life and death, but in everyone else's eyes, he was just a cold corpse. Anna refused to believe any of it. He began venting his rage. He knocked everything in the lab to the floor. What made it worse was that when his feet stepped on broken glass, he felt no pain at all. That day, Deacon brought back a beautiful embalming suit for him. Anna loved it immediately. At the same time, she noticed that Deacon had put the room keys in his coat pocket. Then he pushed the stretcher out to fetch a fresh body. After Deacon drove away, Anna quickly took the bunch of keys out, but there were too many keys. She had to try them one by one. At this moment, Deacon was still at the gas station, unaware of what was happening at home, but when he went to pay, he suddenly realized the keys were gone. He instantly knew something was wrong. He rushed back by car. By then, Anna had finally opened the door, but she still couldn't get out. The villa's main gate was also locked. She had to keep trying each lock one by one. Finally, she opened the last main gate. Deacon happened to arrive downstairs by car. She had to hide temporarily, preparing herself for a desperate fight. If she fell into his hands, all hope of escape would be gone. Fortunately, Deacon didn't notice her. She returned to the front gate. She found the key in the door had already been taken back by Deacon. In panic, she noticed a phone in one of the rooms. Anna quickly dialed her boyfriend Paul's number, but unexpectedly, when he heard her voice, he hung up immediately. Since Anna's car accident, Paul had never accepted the truth. Recently, he had been experiencing repeated hallucinations. He began to suspect he was losing his mind. While Anna was in disbelief, Deacon quietly approached from behind. He urged Anna to accept reality. Otherwise, those who loved her deeply would only suffer more. To stop Anna from struggling, Deacon yanked a piece of cloth away. It became her last shred of hope, because in the mirror her eyes were sunken, and her skin looked like a corpse. At this moment Anna could no longer argue. She began to realize that death was an irreversible fact. Then there was a noise outside the window. It was a neighbor's little boy, but the eerie sight froze him instantly, because Anna was his former elementary school teacher. But Deacon paid no mind. No one would believe a child's nonsense. By now Anna had been completely brainwashed. Just as he had given up all hope, a breath appeared on the mirror. Deacon was shot. While Anna wasn't paying attention, he secretly wiped away the mark. From then on, Anna fully accepted that she was a corpse. She began to let Deacon manipulate her. The next day the terrified boy went to school, and happened to run into Anna's boyfriend collecting her belongings. He told him what he saw at the funeral home, and that Anna was wearing a red outfit. The boyfriend was furious. He punched the boy hard. Once he calmed down, memories began to surface. On the day of the accident, Anna really had worn a red tank top. Could everything the boy said be true? Seeking the truth, he returned to the funeral home. Ignoring Deacon's objections, he barged in. Anna heard her boyfriend's desperate calls, but now believing herself dead, she had no courage to go out to him. Finally, under Deacon's fake consolation, her boyfriend left in despair. But he didn't give up. He went straight to the police station. He was convinced Anna was still alive, and that Deacon had hidden her body. Even if Anna was dead, what harm would it do to check her body? So he begged his police friend to help search, but his friend handed him the cold autopsy report. But her boyfriend thought the coroner had only checked her pupils and pulse, then declared her dead. He suspected Anna might have been injected with a drug, and this theory of his was actually supported by one of the police officers, because there really are drugs that can paralyze a person, leaving them immobilized in seconds, and their heartbeat almost flatlining. Before the man could finish, another officer interrupted them. He said that when he went to the funeral home that morning to see his brother, he had seen Anna lying on the mortuary table, and he had seen her rigid corpse up close. After hearing this, her boyfriend wanted to fight for more, but without evidence for a search. His friend could only urge him to grieve. The officer said, "Anyway, Anna's funeral is tomorrow. You'll get to see her then." On the morning of the funeral, Deacon washed and dressed Anna, sculpting her delicate features. At the last moment, Anna longed to see the world one last time, but when Deacon opened the door, she hesitated to step outside.
Thought you were different.
You all say you're scared of death. But the truth is, you're more scared of life.
I'm glad I'm dead. I'm glad it's over.
Seeing Deacon take out a syringe, he thought of the relatives and friends arriving soon. He wanted to see her final makeup one last time. Deacon held the mirror up for him. The reflection was heartbreakingly beautiful. He couldn't help but sigh, but the fog lingered on the mirror, and touching it left marks. He finally realized he had been deceived, but it was too late. No matter how desperately she struggled, nothing could be undone.
Why did you lie to me?
So close.
Deacon captured Anna's final pose. Then the coffin was moved into the chapel. Her boyfriend walked into the viewing room heavy-hearted. He went to her side, sliding the long hidden engagement ring onto her cold finger. At that moment, Anna's lips twitched strangely. Deacon tensed up instantly, but her boyfriend felt only the chill, fully believing she was gone. Deacon finally breathed a sigh of relief. He hurried to close the coffin lid. Anna was erased from this world forever. Then Deacon returned to the bedroom, pinning Anna's last photo on the wall. Chillingly, the entire wall was covered with identical memorial photos. Unbelievable. All these people had died in the same kind of accident. It was truly terrifying. Anna suddenly woke up in the coffin, but endless darkness swallowed everything. The sound of earth falling above her. She cried out desperately, but her voice was swallowed by the heavy coffin in soil. That night her grief-stricken boyfriend drowned his sorrows in alcohol. Deacon saw this and approached to talk.
You think Anna was still alive after the accident? Maybe you're right. Maybe she's still alive. Why don't you go and find out for yourself? Mr. Coleman, find out whether she's dead or alive.
His words ignited the last of the anger, but Deacon reminded him there wasn't much time. Her boyfriend completely lost his mind. There was no time to think. He immediately drove to the cemetery, exactly what Deacon had planned. Yes, he became Deacon's next victim. Heart racing, he sped down the road. Suddenly a white light flashed. When he opened his eyes again, he was lying on the mortuary table. Deacon was looking down at him, tending to his wounds. But unlike before, there was a silent assistant by his side. It was the boy he had punched earlier. He had become Deacon's apprentice, likely to turn as twisted as Deacon in the future. At last her boyfriend realized the truth about Anna, but what awaited him was the same fate as his beloved.